Hiya Heroes! It is time once again to feed the beast. I'm your host, Matty Morgs, aka Rather Stashing, at your service. Okay, well, we are going to get really busy. In fact, this is probably going to turn into a 2 or 3-parter, as we've done a lot of the basics, as you saw before, and now we have to focus on getting things a little bit more automated and sustainable. We have a very basic list here, not necessarily in a particular order. So even before getting that done, we had a little bit of trouble. I had an Enderman in the basement, and he was teleporting around, which, by the way, if he lands in your crops, as you can see from that one square that's grassed over right over there, he will flatten your crops. But didn't let that stop us. We're going to have to eat to regain our strength. Now, what we're going to be doing is replacing the orchard that we currently have going here. And I'll show you what it was that we were doing to, by hand, sort of using vanilla Minecraft to be somewhat efficient. So we put those there. And, woo. And there we go. And just kind of come in, and because it's a block down, it's a little bit easier to get to the top. So you end up gathering the wood, and then, you know, as it drops saplings or apples, anything along those lines, it's really just easy to get and accessible. All of this stuff, well, it'll just end up disintegrating. Well, anyway, we're going to automate this process so that we don't continually have to plow the lines here and do this all manually. By the way, also, there's a little bit of an underground area here, kind of went into to dig around, that I noticed when we were sinking some of these holes and getting some of the general prep work done and out of the way for this episode. So we are going to make a peat bog, because that is going to give us a renewable source of fuel to use in generators and for a lot of other machines. The setup for this is going to be a little difficult. Not complex that it's not understandable, but all of the things that we've done thus far, including in the background, will come into play. Let's open up our menu. In fact, why don't we go put the spoils of our planting away here first, and we'll check and see how our mushrooms are doing. Yeah. All right. Well, just keep doing what you're doing, guys. Okay. That was a poisoned potato there. Yeah. That's never bad to have on hand. Okay. So, in order to make peat, we can actually do this manually first, just as we were cutting down trees to make charcoal and use it for other wood resources here. We would need an item called bog earth. Bog earth is easy enough to make, and we'll give a little bit of a preview about how this is going to look. Where's dirt when you need it? Aha. There we go. Isn't that convenient? Oh, we also need a bucket. Close your doors. Ooh. Random egg. So, we have 4 dirt, 4 sand, and a bucket gives us 6 bog earth. Now, as you can see, that didn't consume the bucket, just the water. That gives us 6. we're going to have to do this just a couple of times. Now, again, this is the manual way. We're going to progress into something a little bit more efficient here by making a pump and a pond for the pump. Which there's a little bit of a secret to that. And it's not necessarily cheaty, but it's a way to get things done, I suppose. And we'll just do this one more time, so we have a multiple of 9, or yeah, of 9. Now, we've not been digging into our beaches for the sand. What you can do is actually put cobblestone into a macerator, and you'll get sand out of it. And then sand can be put into the electric furnace, or really any furnace, to make glass, which is going to come in handy later. So we'll put this over here in our farm section. We'll just make a little sample space. 1, 2, 3. It does not have to be below ground if you don't want. Actually, whoops. Alright, let's get this back up and going here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now what the water is going to do is essentially ferment this bog earth into peat. Kind of a nice effect. And considering you actually get 1,000 more energy units out of a piece of peat than you would coal, this can be just a way more efficient way of doing things. Even better, it's sustainable. So it's not just a matter of convenience, it's also a matter of being able to preserve your landscape if you wish to, or, you know, to save it for other modifications. Okay. I presume we could do 8 around and have it doubled up there, so that's kind of sharing 2 sources, but you get the idea. So we're going to leave that to start fermenting. We'll see if we can get anything out of it. It'll be a wise idea just to wait for all of it to go, and then we'll recapture the water in the bucket before breaking it. Otherwise, it's just going to, you know, spill all out, and it'll just get messy. Sometimes bucketing water can be like herding cats. So, well, I guess if we're going to end up filling this place in anyway. But the carpenter is going to be a machine we're going to use in our area here. So we'll need to come down here, and I bet we can pump the water up. No, that's all right. Just as you've seen an example before, if you don't use the right tool for the job, you'll lose the block. And buckets aren't exactly adept at at breaking stone. All right, so we're going to make a little pond right here. To be more efficient, I honestly should get another bucket. But we're going to take... Ooh, hi, door. We're going to take our time with this. We're going to make sure that we do this right and showcase, you know, if we don't put the work in up front, then it'll be a little hard to, I guess, appreciate the final product that is going to operate in the background. Now, ultimately in this series, in our FTB BTF, where this is going to lead is once we have all of the basics set up, we are going to then have a draw of resources that we can tap into anytime to make just about anything. There we go. And that is then going to encourage us to build dungeons, traps. we can get into architecture as you've been presented a sustainable way to gather resources without making the landscape, well, you know, too marked up. Now we'll store that in here. Oh, random stuff. We all need a bucket of water. Okay. So, we're going to have to start somewhere. We're going to use our menu here to look up items. If you do have a computer that can handle it, you know, just switch between windows back and forth. If you reference a Wikia site or something else, there is a pretty good app out there for vanilla Minecraft called Mine Canary. There are others made by other people, so I don't want to seem like I'm exclusively endorsing one over the other. But if you do pick one up, support the app developers. It takes a lot of time and effort to not just make, but also maintain a database. And, well, you know, we're a community of gamers, and we should work with each other. Alright, anyway. So we have our pond made. That was one of the items. We're going to need a carpenter. Glass, bronze, and a sturdy casing. Okay, sturdy casing is just a box of bronze here. And actually, there's going to be a couple things that we're going to need to get, we're going to have to get moving. So I think we're going to do this. We're going to need this for a couple projects. So, to also show the setup here, this is the chest that we can load all our material into. It's going to get pumped down here into the macerator. Macerator turns on. The macerator must be loaded from the top, as does the electric furnace. That's why this kind of snakes around as it does. Unfortunately, without any upgrades that go in over here, maceration can take a little bit of time. Since gold dust will be filtering into here, we can already just preload this, since it'll be the same object falling into this slot. And that'll give us some bars of gold. In addition, let's start cooking up some of this stuff here. And that's just going to get pumped here. And as you can see, the gold bars are going to travel up. This was made a little bit elaborate, so anytime we kind of get a glimpse of the background, you can see all the items working and moving along with each other. But all of this stuff is going to end up in this chest. Now you do have to watch out, because if you put multiple items, for instance, if we put copper or iron, it will continuously flow. The pipe in the redstone engine here don't discriminate against what it is. However, as this slot is occupied, all of that material will just sort of float in the pipe, and you'll have to scooch up next to it to pick it up and cycle it back. There's a couple automated processes for overflow. We'll get into that later, but right now, as you can see, everything is still pretty basic. We'll just have to remember to keep an eye on it. Rubber wood here, now that we have an extractor, while this is giving us 3 pieces of rubber per 1 sticky resin, when we actually put in the rubber wood, it will give us 1 piece of rubber per, I guess, bark square. Bum, bum, bum. Here we go. That's copper. Okay, sturdy casing. Let's come back up to carpenter. So we're going to need 2 glass. Ooh, and we're going to need 6 more bronze. We have some bronze dust. Oh, that's 4. This was another machine that we made in the meantime. We're not going to worry about it just yet. I just wanted to point that out. Okay, furnace. We're going to do this real quick. Now we will have to wait for it to make its rounds, but that's fine. Okay. You could spam click over in this area and possibly catch it. Oh, good. We kind of snuck that in there in between the loads. We could honestly just break this too if we really wanted. Let's just be patient. Dun, dun, dun. 2 glass. There's 4 of the 6. We needed a sturdy casing. And we needed a chest, was it? No, that's for something else. Okay. We have some extra redstone engines as well because we're going to need to power some of these devices. Some a redstone engine or even multiples just will not be efficient or even enough machine power to work. So we'll have to look at making other engines, and in fact one that we are going to be working on is going to be a peat-fired engine. And since we'll be able to sustainably make a lot of peat, that will become our kind of go-to. Now, we'll feature other ones, such as the electric, or there's even oil and fuel that we can burn. Coal, it's kind of a nice effect. But that's all in due time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Carpenter. Now, we are also going to have to make a pump. It's just going to take a mining well and a tank. Well, tank is easy. 8 pieces of glass. Okay, we'll do that first. One thing at a time. Some iron ingots, an iron pickaxe. Okay. So we need one of those. This is why it's handy to keep wood on you. That should be enough. Do we have any cobblestone? Yes, we do, from doing some maceration. We're going to need lots of iron, too. 1, 2, 3. Got it. Okay. Stone gear. Whew. You see how quickly you can burn through resources? And 6 iron ingots. Okay. There we go. And we're making some good progress. There we go. Pump. Okay. Step 1 is pretty well complete. We're going to end here, though we'll be just kind of doing a continuous film. But we'll take a break here, and we'll get to it in the next episode. So I will see you shortly, hopefully, heroes. Enjoy.
Shooting star leaping through the sky like a tiger, defying the laws of